The voice of the I Am is the mouthpiece through which the Ascended Master's instruction can reach the students quickly. That the most powerful work possible for America and the world may be done by the students to release the greatest light in the shortest time.
It will also contain information as to where the accredited messengers Mr. and Mrs. G. W. Ballard and son, Donald, are teaching the Ascended Master's instruction on the I Am.
Information. The information given under the heading of Young America will be the Ascended Master's help to the young people for their protection and illumination. As they are the builders of the new civilization and are the channels through which the Ascended Masters will give their light for the use of the outer world in the golden I Am age. This magazine is not an outlet for articles from the students, but is the outpouring of the help from the Ascended Masters and has no human concepts in it. LAMRNWWAS DC. One AM.
The luminous presence.
Visualizing the luminous presence of Jesus or any other one of the Ascended Masters is the most powerful way of creating a focus through which the Ascendants Master Consciousness acts in the physical experience of the individual, of nations, of mankind, and of the earth itself. There is no person, place, condition, or thing that can resist the Might's Ascended Master power that can be focused through this activity, and if every student will train himself to use it in any and every activity, waking and sleeping, his own experiences will be all the proof he can desire of the truth of which we speak, for it is the operation of an inflexible law that has not been explained for use in the outer world. The likeness of Jesus, or that of any Ascended Master, should be pictured clearly in the mind, the body made of intense, dazzling white substance and sending out long rays of light that flash continually, quivering with the intensity of the light held focused within and pouring through them into the person, place, condition, or thing to be perfected. In beginning to visualize the figure of any Ascended Master, ask your mighty I Am presence to show you the picture. Clear and definite, and to hold it in your consciousness and before your vision, that your concentration may be uninterrupted and powerful, for the instantaneous response to this is what we want you to have. The color of the rays of light poured out can be changed according to the special activity required. The body always remains dazzling white, but the color of the rays of light poured forth is determined by the need of either the patient or condition to be assisted. When the activity of divine love, peace, quiet, comfort, or the ideas from the pure Christ mind are required, the rays of light pouring forth should be the color of molten gold, like sunshine on burnished gold, continually sparkling, if much energy is to be used, but very soft and opaque if a soothing quality is needed. In the healing of children, the soft, opaque golden color is the thing most frequently required, and the sparkling activity is only used if the energy is low. If the activity of pouring out divine compassion is required, the rays of light should be a delicate, beautiful pink blending with the gold, the pink being the shade often seen in mother of pearl or the soft afterglow of a beautiful, clear sunset. Whenever the purifying activity is required, whether it be the substance of the body, discord in the feelings, or wrong thoughts in the mind, which are patterns made of substance in the mental body, the rays of light, pouring their energy into the body or condition, should be an intense, gloriously beautiful shade of violet, like that seen in the spectrum, the rainbow, the refraction of a pure white diamond, or the lovely color in violet neon signs. The latter, anyone can see in advertising signs illumined at night. The rays of light, pouring out from the visualized form of an ascended master for healing or perfecting purposes, are a most powerful activity, for they are substance energized and charged with the ascended master consciousness, which supplies whatever is required to make their activity instantaneous and most powerful as well as self-sustained. When an increase of energy is required in the healing of a specific condition, the rays of light pouring out may be colored a very pale, delicate shade of blue, like that of an electric spark. But know always, when using this activity, that the entire activity and the energy released is forever qualified with pure divine love and controlled always by the wisdom of the ascended masters. Remember always that the calling forth of energy just to heal a body without bringing illumination to the mind will always bring punishment to the one who draws it forth, and the power to bring it into outer activity will eventually cease. This is the reason why many who have done healing in the outer world have had the power of healing through various activities for a while, and then the ability to heal ceases and the individual himself passes out of the body. It is because the healing was done for a livelihood instead of for the purpose of illumining the individual. Duels through the experience which had made the healing necessary. If all who work to heal human bodies could but realize that illumination of the mind so the individual stops the cause is the first step to permanent healing, they would never use any energy to heal unless the mind could be illumined too. This is more important than the individual can possibly realize, and the Ascended Master will never use any energy to heal unless through that healing, permanent illumination can expand. The colors of red or black are never, never, never used by an Ascended Master, and that is always one infallible means by which the student can determine what the force is that is acting. In visualizing the luminous presence of Jesus or that of any other Ascended Master, the size of the figure should be visualized considerably larger than the body of the patient, and if the condition to be perfected be a locality, city, or country, the figure should be visualized in gigantic proportions and always larger than the locality receiving the assistance. The visualizing of the form of any Ascended Master is a transcendent activity of the light. For the picture held in mind becomes in reality a cup or receptacle into which the Ascended Master, whose likeness it is, pours his rays of light, which is an actual substance charged with his infinite energy and Ascended Master consciousness of the perfection desired. The visualizing of a sun of dazzling white light with the miniature likeness of Jesus or any other Ascended Master in the center, made of still more intense white light with rays of golden light radiating out from it, placed in the middle of the forehead between the eyes, is a most powerful way of protecting the mind or consciousness in the mental body of the individual from the suggestions of other human beings. If visualized and felt many times a day by the student, it will become a permanent activity that guards that one's mentality from intrusion by outside forces. The student should become as aware of this as he is of his hands and feet. The visualizing of this same activity upon the forehead of everyone you look at is a most transcendent blessing and protection to that one, and also qualifies all consciousness coming through it with that Ascended Master's consciousness and perfection, whose likeness is within the miniature. You cannot overestimate the importance of consciously visualizing this activity many times a day on your own forehead and that of everyone you meet or think about. There can only be one result from this, one action to all concerned, and that is an outpouring of the Ascended Master's perfection, love, and light to the one doing it and to all who receive it. Know always that the light contains only perfection, and when visualized around oneself, another person, place, condition, or thing, only one effect can possibly be the result, and that is peace, protection, illumination, and blessings to the giver and receiver of that visualizing activity. There never, Never, never can be any result from this but good, because it is God, the mighty I Am presence, acting in the full ascended master consciousness and activity of light, love, and perfection. In using the luminous presence of an ascended master to protect a locality or activity, visualize the likeness of the ascended master in dazzling white within the center of a blazing globe or golden sun, with a touch of pink in it, and from this see sparkling rays of violet bluish lightning flashing down from it and forming a dome-like covering over the locality or activity. Then command, Mighty I Am Presence. Take possession of everybody and everything here. Sweep out everything human. Sweep in all perfection of the Ascended Masters and hold your control here forever in Ascended Master Management, bringing all into divine order through divine love. In visualizing the luminous presence of Jesus or any Ascended Master for healing, the picture in dazzling white light with a radiance of gold and violet should be held as clearly as possible and the patient's body seem to rise and disappear within it. Knowing that all conditions of mind and body are illumined, perfected, and absorbed into the glory, love, happiness, and perfection of the Ascended Master's light. Activities of individuals, groups, nations, and the whole world can be raised into the vibratory action of the Ascended Master's light by visualizing the Ascended Master's body in the light, as described above, and see all disappear into their perfection. In creating and holding this visualized picture of an Ascended Master in dazzling light, realize, understand, and feel deeply that the actual substance from that Ascended Master's body, charged with his Ascended Master intelligence and energized by his flame of divine love from the heart of his own ascended body, actually is poured into that mental picture and held there until the 6. Person to be healed, or the condition to be perfected, has absorbed the substance, energy, and intelligence into that person's mind, body, or the condition, and they actually become the Ascended Master's perfection in that light. This activity is so wonderful, so marvelous, so transcendent, that it is impossible to describe what transcendent miracles and accomplishments can be brought about through it. As this becomes a fixed habit in the consciousness of the student, he will find that he can control all through it, and thus be a constant outpouring of perfection to all he contacts in thought or deed. Oh, that all mankind might learn to do this, see, feel, know, and experience the marvelous perfection and freedom which it always brings. FAFIR
Affirmations.
FAF. Mighty I Am Presence. Make me accept this instant the limitlessness of thy mighty presence, the self-luminosity of my flesh, the full activity of the all-seeing eye and all-hearing ear of God, the instantaneous precipitation direct from the universal of everything I desire for the service of the light, the full use in all my outer activities of all the powers of my being, and the instantaneous fulfillment of my every conscious command of the I Am in full Ascended Master victory and freedom forever self-sustained. Mighty I Am Presence. Take possession of my mind, body, and world forever. Control my feelings and see that nothing ever enters my consciousness again but the Ascended Master's perfection. He's words of Jesus.
Easter. I am the resurrection and life.
These words of Jesus are still the command of all Ascended Masters to every individual on earth and are charged with the flame of divine love from his and their hearts, clothing those words with substance, actual particles from their ascended master bodies. Try, blessed students, to realize the fullness of what this means to you. For when you use the words of an ascended master, you are using living flames of substance charged with that master's power to produce perfection for you. You must use them yourself in order for that substance to locate in your mind and body. No one else can ever do this for you, and that is the reason why only by his own conscious effort can the individual ever gain his freedom and victory over the activity of the outer world. He must use the ascended master's words himself, for that is the actual release of their substance and energy, which is the perfection that the student desires. Their words are the fire of eternal truth and love, the greatest power and highest rate of vibration in the universe. For when an ascended master speaks, his words instantly become things, and manifestation of their fulfillment is instantaneous and coexistent with his decree.
The Ascended Master's consciousness and understanding of the mighty I Am presence is the resurrection of every individual who accepts and uses them into the octave of perfection or perfect expression of life.
Which was, is, and always will be the original divine plan for all beings and activity. Awake, thou that sleepest, is the constant call of the mighty I Am presence, speaking its decree of freedom to every personality continually. For the moment, the ascended master's understanding of the meaning of the words I Am touches even the intellectual consciousness of the individual. That moment, his resurrection from the dream of discord, which is his outer human consciousness of imperfection, takes place, and the first step to the ascension of his body begins. Awake, arise, and come into the arms of your mighty I Am presence is the constant call of the ascended masters and all who serve the light to humanity in the outer world. Weighted down by its own thoughts and feelings which create its problems, confusion, and limitations. The individual only needs to place his attention on his own mighty I Am presence, his electronic body resting above his head, and keep looking at it face to face. To know and feel his problems and limitations, letting go their hold upon him and his world, dropping away by their own weight into the lake of consuming fire, the universal sea of forgetfulness.
He needs only to feel himself absorbed into the great flame of divine love.
Its radiant wings of light folded after him and holding him in the dazzling light of his own mighty I Am presence until he ascends and blends into its own blazing body, eternate. Finally free wherever he goes and master of all activity in the universe. Each morning should be a glad new Easter to the student who has once contacted the Ascended Master's instruction of the mighty I Am presence. From the Ascended Master's octave of perfection, these great ones are constantly pouring out limitless light, love, and the comprehending consciousness of their own beings. They project forth their knowledge of truth from the all-knowing mind of God, explain its law, and clothe that truth in the flame of divine love from their own hearts, which means the actual substance from their ascended master bodies. These are very real, and just because they are sometimes invisible does not make them any the less tangible. An airplane propeller, whirling at very great speed, is invisible, but it is certainly very real and yet very tangible. So it is with the great ascended masters, and if it were not for the constant assistance of these blessed ones to our earth at this time, humanity's distress would be greater than it could bear. Awake, all who want the constructive way of life. Stand to the light and face your mighty I Am presence. Understand the fullness of its power to help you. Receive its mighty, invincible protection and freedom now and forever. This is the command of the great ascended masters and legion of light to the humanity of earth. The hour has struck for all who want the light to stand to the light in the unconditional surrender of all outer activity into the manage meant of the mighty I Am presence and the ascended masters, that the fullness and victory of light, intended for mankind and the earth, may now blaze forth with invincible power, and, if need be, release that light as of 1,000 suns to consume all unlike itself, that all upon earth may now bring forth the full perfection of the ascended masters, as has been decreed from the beginning. Another great release of light will again flood the earth and mankind at Easter, through which the mighty I Am presence, Jesus, all ascended masters, the legion of light and angelic hosts will expand the flame of divine love within each human heart, and through this, release into the all-physical activity the light required to illumine the consciousness of mankind with the truth of the mighty I Am presence. All who desire the light may reach up, open the door into the world of the ascended masters, and come through into their own eternal victory and freedom now. If they will but turn their attention to the mighty I Am presence and ascended masters and receive the help offered them so graciously from the realm of eternal perfection and light. At Jesus' transfiguration, he poured out a mighty stream of his light and love to bless mankind and the earth. This took place at midnight. The resurrection was the second and more powerful outpouring of his light, love, and blessing, and took place at dawn, symbolizing the dawn of the new understanding of the I Am presence, which began at that moment. The ascension was the third and most powerful full outpouring, and took place at noon, symbolizing the full power of light, which is the mastery over all activity forever. May every individual on earth awaken this Easter to the full illumination of his own mighty I Am presence. Realize its mighty love, accept the fullness of its light, see it face to face, and feel the oneness with that glorious being which is the only reality of himself. Easter Sunrise Service. Facing the sunrise of the mighty I Am presence. Mighty I Am presence. I face thy eternal sunrise and noonday blaze, and receive now thy mighty presence, radiance, and activity in all my activity, visibly and tangibly manifest forever. Mighty I Am presence. Let the full power of the ascended masters come forth through every individual on earth and control the activity of the vision of mankind, that all may see thee face to face. Let the full power of mighty I Am presence. I face thy eternal sunrise and noonday blaze, and receive now thy mighty presence, radiance, and activity in all my activity, visibly and tangibly manifest forever.
The above is the affirmation which we wish the students to learn and use every morning. If they sincerely want the light, Saint Germain says, if the students sincerely want to serve the light, let them face the sunrise of their mighty I Am presence and stand to the light.
Mighty I Am presence. Let the full power of the ascended masters come forth through every individual on earth and control the activity of the vision of mankind, that all may see thee face to face, know and feel the fullness of the reality which thou art. Say, S-E. Let each one, during the advance and presence of the ascended host at the altar of his silence, know that all are filled with truth which comprehends all truth, coming through the manifestation from the mighty I Am presence. Unless we recognize that we have within us the truth, there is naught to comprehend the truth that is given. Therefore, in all attendant instruction, it is wise to always know that the truth, the mighty I Am presence within us, is the comprehending presence. Out of the seeming valley of mystery, all things are revealed, and a valuable watchword is silence and wait. In this waiting, know that it is impossible for any truth, for which we are ready, to be withheld from you. There is an inner and an outer stream of life, the same as there is an inner and outer presence, or rather, the one presence of the I Am, expressing the inner and outer activity. To reach a definite conclusion to an unfamiliar point, we but need to keep asserting that we do know the truth through the mighty I Am presence, the master presence within. With the attention fixed on this idea, we will find the film of divine wisdom from the mighty I Am presence moving through the camera of our outer vision. You will note carefully that the outer vision of the human form is but the camera of the master presence within, the mighty I Am presence. In your outer activity of the physical camera, as the distance grows greater and the detail more needful, the lens is intensified in both size and quality. As we advance step by step from the lower to the higher consciousness, the vision or lens of the consciousness is intensified, or rather strengthened, according to the demand from both the inner and outer activity. The true vision of the presence is always reality, for it cannot and does not see imperfection because the law of its being is perfection only. The activity of the mighty I Am presence is its law, and is the law, and there is no other. When there is a seeming lack in the activity of this perfect vision, it is because the fog of human consciousness has caused a film or haze to pass over the lens of the vision. Keep acknowledging, embodying the idea of the perfect vision of the mighty I Am presence expressing through all outer activity. When the outer is determined enough, that very determination will, with no uncertainty, call forth abundant strength to keep the lens of your vision sufficiently clear so that you will readily detect any discrepancy or unreality that attempts to intrude from the outer activity of the mind. Once you understand the importance of keeping the attention fixed firmly on the only creative presence, the mighty I Am presence, the master within, above, and around you, you will see how shortly you can become master of your life, your world, and your environment. When an army goes forth to conquer by force of arms, which in reality is usurped force, where the leaders did not have the vision, the attempt failed, and where they did have the vision, the effort succeeded. The vision, clear and true, is God's mighty presence, the mighty I Am presence and power in action. It is God's mighty force expressed. When the vision of a commander is fixed on reality and conveyed to the army, then invincible courage, strength, and power flow through, which accounts for every victory. When the individual stands aside and stops looking to the outer self as the doer, the clear inner vision becomes the assurance of the accomplishment, and the fulfillment of the divine plan takes place in manifestation. When you know there is something to be accomplished, then the outer mind must make its definite choice and do it. When there is not a definite certainty in the outer consciousness of exactly what is the perfect thing to be done, call forth wisdom from the mighty I Am presence to act, that only the divine plan be fulfilled. In such an activity, use God, the mighty I Am presence. Let your wisdom reign in this matter now. This removes all uncertainty. In the activity of protection, the radiation of love and the power of vision are two of the strongest activities for defense. Where the vision is held persistently on God's active perfection, which is the mighty I Am presence, you must sooner or later cause that absolute perfection to manifest in your life and affairs. Through the outer activity of the mind is the most powerful way of achieving whatsoever you wish, and that is why the great ones say, God needs a body. The student who will take the determined attitude that his mind and body is a temple of the living God, the mighty I Am presence, makes himself a mighty focus for all of God's perfection in its fullness. You cannot possibly overestimate the importance of visualizing. There has been so much confusion about visualizing that an effort must be made to clear it up. True vision is the mental picturing within of whatsoever you wish to have expressed without. This must be done through the conscious effort. Through this simple conscious effort, you are master of your life, your environment, and your world. The law of your being is that when you place a picture within the consciousness and hold it, there, unwaveringly, it can no more fail to be fulfilled than the universe stop. People have not understood what visualizing really meant. It is simply the activity of your own mental pictures that you wish fulfilled.
You cannot have a thought that does not contain the picture of that thought.
Even an abstract thought creates a picture in your mind, which is your concept of that thought. Most of the time, the outer consciousness is unaware that the picture is there. Hence, the necessity of constantly watching the outer mind and of making a conscious effort to place the right pictures within it. You must get the consciousness and keep it that nothing acts unless you cause it to act. Unless you know that there is only God acting, which is the mighty I Am presence, 1,000 things will suggest themselves to your mind for acceptance, but it is your privilege and responsibility to make your choice. You must choose, know what you want, and then visualize it. Through visualization, God, the mighty I Am presence, has provided an emergency measure by which the human mind can again repolarize to the reality of God's perfection through the mighty I Am presence. Thought pictures itself all the time.
The conscious effort of controlling this picture within is infinitely more powerful than the ungoverned miscellaneous picturing, which is the ordinary mental habit of the mass of humanity.
The indiscriminate picturing within has created humanity's present condition. How much more powerful, then, is the definitely directed visualizing to bring into manifestation that which you want? Keep before you forever that, when the desire is good, it is always the mighty I Am presence acting to produce it, and is God's will. God, the mighty I Am presence, is the power picturing the perfection. Keep before the mind that what you want to accomplish is the only thing to consider, so long as it does not injure another. As the Christ, the mighty I Am presence, command that it does not, and then go forth to full accomplishment. Thought, desire, and vision are the triple activity of the one great presence, the mighty I Am presence. Thought is the idea, the father. Desire is the feeling, the mother. Vision is the form, the son. When either in
The conscious visualizing of the rays of light surrounding the top of the head forms the crown, making receptacle for the force from the great central sun to flow into and out of the personality.
When either individuals or nations undertake to do away with the thought of God, the mighty I am. When either individuals or nations undertake to do away with the thought of God, the mighty I am presence, the Supreme One, the true power of vision has vanished. Therefore, the ultimate for them is disintegration. They may seem to thrive for a time, but they are only living on usurped energy, and when that is used up, they simply stop. The moment the ability to visualize through the recognition of a supreme power stops, the accomplishment ceases. That is the reason for the statement, "Without the vision, the people perish." There are thousands in America who recognize a supreme presence, which enables a certain amount of energy to flow through and sustain it. Now, the conscious understanding and effort of the mighty I Am presence has come forth and will sustain it still more powerfully. In the thought, desire, and vision is the self-sustaining power, if you can but be conscious of it in your use of them.
In all activity that you start into motion, be always conscious that it is self-sustained.
Then you give it the full action and power that belong to it. The electronic presence of the mighty I Am is the father of all activity. As you continue and consciously sustain these ideas, you generate a tremendous power. Go joyously on, knowing it cannot fail, and you will find that this mighty master I Am presence will reach out everywhere, control all things, and you and your world will take on the perfection of that presence. Mighty I Am presence. We give praise and thanks that thou dost now release the full ascended master activity of the all-seeing eye, and that thou dost call the attention of mankind throughout the earth to thy mighty presence and perfection. That all may now receive the fullness of thy victory and light, even with the speed of thought. Affirmation. Mighty I Am presence. Come forth and annihilate all human concepts in me concerning finance, for I am one with the presence of all thy supply. Make me know it, feel it, and manifest it forever, self-sustained, in the full outpouring of thy divine love. E.
The limitless light. Let there be light, light, light.
E. There be. Light, light, light. Was, is, and always will be the first supreme command from the one great source, the mighty I Am presence, announcing throughout infinity its own mighty being and glory. This all-enfolding presence, speaking forth from out the great central sun, decrees its preordained, self-expanding perfection for all manifested beings, sustaining its activity until all consciousness and substance record the fulfillment of its irrevocable command. Wherever those words register within consciousness, whether it be in thought, feeling, word, or deed, it is always the mighty I Am presence releasing the perfection of itself into substance and controlling the vibratory action until all full fulfills the eternal plan of perfection everywhere. Light, life, love are the threefold activity of the mighty I Am presence. Light, the Christ, the flame are the threefold activity of the mighty I Am presence. Light, substance, energy are the threefold activity of the mighty I Am presence. These activities seem to be separate, yet they are one, and their source is one, the mighty I Am presence.
The light, spiritually, mentally, and physically illumines and controls harmoniously all it contacts.
The ability to think is an attribute of the light. Therefore, O beloved students, meditate on the light and let your consciousness be so filled with its recognition, glory, and perfection that nothing can ever again hold your attention but its blazing presence. Nothing will ever pay you such interest on your investment as the time and attention spent in acknowledging, accepting, adoring, blessing, and calling into dynamic action the limitless light of your own mighty I Am presence to produce perfection for you now and forever. The light illumines all by the supreme power within itself. The Christ perfects all by the supreme power within itself. The flame consumes all, unlike perfection by the supreme power within itself, and these three are one. All else has beginning and end. Only the mighty I Am presence, the Christ, the flame, the light, love, is eternally, changeless, ever-expanding perfection for all. Light is self-illumining, eternally sustained consciousness. Light is self-expanding, eternally sustained substance. Light is self-generating, eternally sustained energy. Light knows all perfection. Light contains all perfection. Light reveals all perfection. Light is wisdom. Light is power. Light is love, the one and only activity that cannot be used by those who do not serve the light, and that presence, power, and light is I Am. The plant instinctively turns to the light, and for that turning receives the blessings of the light, which are expansion, perfection, and ascension. The same great cosmic law will act in exactly the same manner to bless the individual, who will also turn to the light and receive its blessings instantly showered upon him. To the individual, who will let the light from his own mighty I Am presence flow into his mind. Body and world without the interruption of discord or lack of attention, the treasure chest of the universe will pour out the limitless gifts of the ascended masters to bless him forever. May the mighty I Am presence charge every individual on earth with the ascended master's consciousness in such an irresistible onrush.
With such an irresistible onrush that naught else can stand before the mighty power of its perfection, illumining, clothing, and raising all into its eternal transcendent, limitless light, light, light forever. I am music. Music is the activity and thing most useful to the ascended masters in the assistance which they give to mankind and this earth.
There is a difference between musical peace and ordinary peace because of the charge of energy that is released when the music is played. It is an actual charge of dynamic energy that pours forth into the atmosphere. True harmony, or what is really the music of the spheres, always, without exception, contains first, exquisite, beautiful melody. Second, constructive, wonderful rhythm. Third, marvelous, transcendent harmony, producing ease and ecstasy in the feelings, always strengthening the mind and body of the listener. Never does it contain any combination of tones that, when first sounded, are in the least uncomfortable to the feeling nature of the individual. All sound that is constructive is comfortable to one's feeling, forever producing ecstasy, alertness, and peace, charging the mind and body with energy, producing purity, balance, and self-control within the individual who hears it. Such sound is forever in agreement with the eternal law of life, which is always an illumining and sustaining activity in all form. All sound that does not produce ease, comfort, poise, and self-control in the feeling of the individual destroys, through continued shock, every form through which it passes. Sounds that excite the feelings rob the individual of his self-control and open his mind, body, and world wide to the discord and destruction of the outer activity of others. For this reason, the Ascended Masters will bring forth the musical activity of the incoming Golden or I Am Age as quickly as possible through individuals who, understanding the above, offer themselves to the Ascended Masters as channels through which they can work to release the harmony and new ideas for the perfection that must pour forth in all outer activity of mankind. When a beautiful musical composition is played, energy, qualified with beauty and harmony, is set into dynamic action, and a form composed of substance built up in the atmosphere. The Ascended Masters, in the capacity of angel devas, always send angels from the music temples to qualify the energy in all constructive music with their divine love in dynamic action and direct it into human activities for the dissolving of discord and destruction, releasing to humanity the Ascended Master's beauty and perfection. If one, who is a musician, will turn his or her attention to the mighty I Am Presence and the Ascended Masters, they will endeavor to use that one's musical ability to pour forth tremendous radiation and to use the musical forms built up to carry their blessings to mankind. If musicians, when they are producing or just preceding their music, will charge all musical activity with the awakening of the consciousness of mankind everywhere to the reality of the mighty I Am Presence in full Ascended Master consciousness, they will be able to give a transcendent service. If the musician will dedicate himself or herself to the service of the Ascended Masters, they will accept the fullness of that dedication and give their assistance without limit. If such students will call the mighty I Am Presence into action in their minds, bodies, and work, they will not only find health, courage, and strength sustaining them, but a transcendent joy and inspiration acting and filling their work with beautiful ideas and perfection. The students of the mighty I Am Presence can always do the following when they hear good music. Whether it be orchestral, band, choral, radio, victrola, or solo music, and thus their opportunity to be of service to all mankind and the earth is without limit. Look up to your mighty I Am Presence a moment and pour out to it your most intense love, and then say, "Mighty I Am Presence, come forth in thy infinite power and charge this music with the Ascended Master's consciousness. Command it to release their limitless light and to awaken the consciousness of every individual on earth to the full truth of his own mighty I Am Presence. To feel its glorious reality. Experience its mighty miracles. Win its eternal victories. Manifest the Ascended Master's perfection and gaze upon it face to face in eternal at-one-ment with the infinite I Am Presence, forever Master of all he contacts, through the supreme dominion of pure divine love, the music of the spheres." HE students should understand that there is a difference between the accepted messengers and the accredited messengers. Jesus and Saint Germain have both said that Saint Germain, myself, or any other Ascended Masters are not giving out teaching of the Phi M in the Western world except through Mr. and Mrs. G.W. Ballard and their son Donald and those named to them and under them. All who have been named as accredited messengers have each received a letter from Saint Germain through us and are subject to his direction through us until the Ascended Masters come forth in their tangible bodies. If any student wishes to know the truth concerning any of the accredited messengers' activities, write us, the Ballards. Direct, and we will tell you the truth and nothing but the truth, no matter what any human being or all the human beings on the earth say or think about this gift of light and love from Saint Germain, Jesus, and the other Ascended Masters. We know the truth and tell it fearlessly to all who want to know the truth. Group leaders are not messengers, neither accepted nor accredited, for the messengers are those who have been given definite training under the Ascended Master, Saint Germain's, observation, and have the study group proved to him their strength and ability to carry the light, unflinchingly, no matter what may be demanded of their personalities, which must be kept pure and perfect for the service of the light. The study groups are for the purpose of helping every student to call his own mighty I Am presence into action, with such intensity that the light required for the protection of America can be released quickly and infinitely. By the practice of calling the presence into action for the service of the many. The student pours out the feeling and gains the strength that is imperative to anchor him permanently into the dynamic action of the light, and through this comes his own eternal victory and freedom. The Ascended Masters and we, as the accredited messengers, are giving forth their instruction and help to mankind in this hour of the world's crisis, to release the light of the mighty I Am presence and their outpouring for the protection and freedom of those who want the light. This means that the light is stripping everything of its disguise and, therefore, exposing the motive in all that is not of the light. The person had better never been born in any life than to come into these classes or groups of I Am, to get an Ascended Master's teaching in order to further schemes of selfishness or to bolster up old human ideas or disintegrating activities to try to fool mankind longer, for any motive whatsoever. In this work, such individuals are not dealing with us, the messengers, personally, and never will. They deal with the wall of light, which the Ascended Masters are releasing for the freedom and protection of the children of light. We are here to give that freedom and protection to those who really want the light. They shall have it now if they will keep their attention on their mighty I Am presence and stand to the light. The student should examine himself thoroughly and see if he be sincere in his desire for the light. By that, we mean to seek this instruction of the mighty I Am presence, because he loves the light more than anything else and loves to serve it only. The light is the student's mighty I Am presence, his very life, and everyone should seek it before everything else in the universe. He should give IT all of himself, for from IT he is receiving all the good in his experiences, always has and always will receive good and only good. It is the only source from which any good, permanent or otherwise, can ever come. If the individual or student be sincere in his desire for the light, let him stand to the light and face the sunrise of his mighty I Am presence, forevermore placing it first in all his activities. This is no idle, fleeting thing to do. It is no passing fancy, for it means that all the outer activities of his human self, the personality, must be brought into obedience to his mighty I Am presence with no uncertainty. This must be done with a glad, loving feeling of surrender, which the human feelings do not always want to give. That is the battle which has to be fought, and won by every human being before his suffering can cease and he be free and at peace. It means that every human feeling must be held under his calm, inflexible control in a steel-like grip, no matter whether it be pleasant or unpleasant to his personality. It means that the student's attention must be held inflexibly on his own mighty I Am presence in everything he can think, say, feel, or do, for he must call it into action at all times and practice its presence in all he does. It means that he really has only one thing to do, but he must do that all the time. It means that he must give the presence his all, and through himself release all its perfection for the blessing of all forever. To those who are fearless and determined enough to do this, there will be given tremendous assistance, and the results will be far beyond all human concept in their joy and blessing to him. It is imperative that the students, who have never had any of this work before, be given the fundamentals in the discourses and the other books before entering the groups of older students who are giving the assistance to America by visualizing the light rays. After they have had the work in the 3 books and been given the work on visualizing, they could join the older groups provided they are entirely harmonious. However, it is wiser for them to form new groups and take their own responsibility for helping America and become sons of light to give that assistance.
Young America. Beloved, blessed youth of America. Divine love is alive within you, consumes all unlike itself, and is the only acting presence within you forever.
Divine love is alive within you. Divine love is alive within you, consumes all unlike itself, and is the only acting presence within you forever, bringing everything into divine order through divine love, releasing the Ascended Master's amazing perfection into and through you everywhere. The mighty I Am presence is your way, your protection, your defense, and your deliverance from everything human into everything divine, and is your illumining, supplying, directing presence, power, and intelligence eternally controlling your being and world by the Ascended Master's consciousness and perfection of the mighty I Am presence, giving you Ascended Master miracles and victories in all you do, and sealing you all forever in the service of the light. We ask all students and individuals to make the above decree once a day for all young people throughout the earth, that they may receive the assistance required to enable them to do the work of the incoming age, which they have accepted by embodying at the present time. Beloved young people everywhere, call your mighty I Am presence into action in everything you do. Call forth its marvelous directing intelligence to clothe you in your eternal transcendent garment of light and show you its glorious new ideas that it wishes you to bring forth in the present and future. To release its limitless light and perfection into your world, and to give you Ascended Master victories and miracles in everything you do, through the full illumination of your own mighty I Am presence, forever self-sustained. Call forth the invincible courage and limitless strength of the Ascended Masters to carry you through any and every experience in life. For all educational activities are changing and being replaced by the happy, easy, harmonious, eternally perfect way of conveying knowledge as the Ascended Masters do, through your call to your own beloved I Am presence. The principal means of teaching in all the new activities is through moving pictures, for the right picture held before the eye helps the brain to receive the perfect ideas conveyed from the mighty I Am presence. And the Ascended Masters. The child or children who are taught to look to the mighty I Am presence first in all study work and ask it to illumine all that is conveyed by the teacher will have amazingly rapid and perfect results. The necessary thing for all children of school age to do is to say, I am the Ascended Master's perfect divine memory, also mighty I Am presence. Illume to me all this which I desire to know, and tell me your full eternal truth about it. The above will always solve every problem of both teaching and learning, and is the divine way of the Ascended Masters by which all knowledge is conveyed. Try also, wherever you go, to arouse the feeling of patriotism in all who are of school age. Show them the sacrifice of the early pioneers and try to make them feel gratitude and appreciation for all the blessings they are receiving today in America.
Set as the standard of conduct for your own life the ideal and the pattern of perfection which Jesus, Saint Germain, and the other ascended masters have manifested.
Insist that all you contact respect your ideal if they are to continue in association with you, because in this way you can do tremendous things for your own freedom and the blessing of the world everywhere through the mighty I Am presence. We ask all the students under this radiation to call the mighty I Am presence into action with infinite ascended master power to bless and release into the outer use of the I Am School and reading rooms. A lavish abundance of every good thing required. To make them an ever-expanding outpouring of light, love, truth, protection, abundance, health, and perfection of the mighty I Am presence and ascended masters to all mankind for the blessing of America and the earth forever. We ask you all to do this with dynamic energy, deep feeling, and intense divine love, and we bless you for it.